Hi. Yeah, gesticulate at me as if it's my fault that you came barreling through here without looking. Today's Review Monday is going to review not a book, not a movie, but an entire television series. You may recall that I was attempting to watch all 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I did! And now I'm going to review it. The whole thing. All 7 seasons. In 4 minutes, it'll be awesome. I have to admit, when I first heard about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, my initial reaction was kind of, which I think is a completely understandable reaction. I mean, just look at the title. First of all, the protagonist's name is Buffy. Buffy? Seriously? I still think it's a dumb name. And then, of course, you've got vampires. Now, I never got into the vampire genre personally, and I really don't understand the people who did. No offense meant to those of you that like vampire stories, I just don't, and I don't really understand the appeal. But feel free to explain it to me in the comments. I did know, however, that Joss Whedon had created the television series, and I loved Firefly, and I loved Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, so, you know, I wasn't quite as hesitant as before. But it was finally one of my friends from grad school who convinced me to watch the first season at his place, so I did, and I liked it. So let's take a look at this show, shall we? First of all, if you've seen Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, or Firefly, or Serenity, or any of the Joss Whedon creations, then you know that Joss Whedon is incredible with words. His writing is quite honestly like no one else's I've heard. And the stories are really good. Now with the show where you're basically showcasing forces of darkness and vampires and demons and all that sort of thing, it's really, really easy to fall into the trap of making the show all about those things. And those things obviously do play a big role, but if this show was about those things, it wouldn't have done nearly as well as it did. The show focuses on the characters in the story rather than the mystical elements. Buffy isn't just this superhero who fights the forces of evil, she is a human being. And she deals with the issues that one might deal with when basically being set apart from the rest of humanity. Every individual season kind of operates as its own individual story. Not only do they have some big form of evil to fight, but there's also an overarching message to the whole thing. And the seasons always come to a really wonderful, though not always happy, conclusion. I gotta say this too. Joss Whedon is still the only person that I know that could turn an entire episode of a television series into a musical, have it make sense, well, as much as anything ever makes sense in Buffy, and not only have it fit in with the story, but have it actually forwarding the story. And forwarding the story better than a regular non-musical episode would have. How does somebody do that? I don't know, but Joss Whedon managed it. And so that is why I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And if you don't like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, bite me. I had to say it. See you tomorrow.